only talk that's going to be in English. I speak English, but I don't speak any Japanese. So, sorry.
Downloading my Java web service. Okay. Well, go right for it.
Hello, I'm Tom Enebo, and this is Charles O.Nutter. We're sometimes known as the JRuby guys. We work for Engine Yard. Before we start, we want to thank Aizawa-san and Oba-san for doing the immense amount of work that they put into setting up JRuby Kai. Thank you very much. And also special thanks to Kai-san for getting you guys to do all this work. So, 2 questions. First question, how many people use JRuby for their work? Okay, 25% maybe. And how many people use Ruby, CRuby for their work? Wow, half. So now we're going to talk just a little bit about JRuby's history, because most people don't know JRuby's history. Every project starts with an idea. The first person to actually mention this is Stefan Matthias Aust, and he asked, Ruby on a JVM, a good idea or a bad one? Well, it's a great idea. I think we all agree with that, or we wouldn't be here today. And this is a bad idea. We thought a beer can this small was useful. So Stefan asked the question, but the original creator of JRuby is Jan Arne Petersen from Germany. And is he our Mats? No, Mats is our Mats. But this project got started in 2001, so JRuby's been around for 9 years. It's a very old project. And for the first few years, progress wasn't very quick. People worked on JRuby because it was a hobby, something to do in the evenings and the weekends, and it was just fun to play with. And as far as I know, up to this point, there was only one user of JRuby. He was someone who wrote a business reporting application where you could write reports in Ruby. He was a very brave man. Um, 2006 was a really exciting year for JRuby. At the very beginning of the year, a bunch of applications and libraries started working. IRB, Ruby Gems, Rake, and about 2 days before Charlie and I did our Java 1 talk, we got Ruby on Rails working. And that made our talk much better.
It was a very exciting day.
We didn't think that that would happen. But so much progress is being made that Sun Microsystems hired us to work full-time on JRuby. Now, this is a really exciting thing because this is one of the first times that Sun really acknowledged that having additional languages on the JVM was a good idea. And it was very good for JRuby itself because we could now work on JRuby every day during the day instead of in the evenings and in the weekends. In 2007, we decided we had to put out a JRuby 1.0. 1.0 is a cursed number. No one ever puts out a 1.0 of any software project and is happy with that release. There's always something that's wrong. And for us, it was mostly that it wasn't actually production ready. But when people think of a 1.0, you should be able to use it in production.
And people did try, and we salute them for being so brave.
Yeah. And about 7 months later, we put out JRuby 1.1, and this was actually should have been our 1.0, because this release was stable enough where you might still have some problems deploying on JRuby, but things work. We'll skip ahead to 2009. In August, Charlie, Nick Seeger, and myself moved to Engineard from Oracle, Sun, Oracle. From one of those two companies we left and went to Engineard. Engineard's a Ruby on Rails hosting company. If anyone's interested, we have people you can talk to. And stickers. We have stickers out around the corner. Now, this might just be a personal feeling for me, but I think that JRuby 1.4 was that first release where most, if not all, Rubyists acknowledge that JRuby is a good Ruby implementation. And it kind of felt like we made it when we put out that release. We got that respect. In November, we had our very first conference, JRuby Conf. And today, we're going to have 4.5 hours of presentations just for JRuby today, so this is very exciting. And I'll hand it over to you.
Okay. So now we're up to today, the present day. JRuby 1.5.2 was just released, second patch release to JRuby 1.5. We now have 100% green Rails 3 test runs, so that's very impressive for us. The Rails is rather complicated. And performance is at least around Ruby 1.9.2. All the implementations are kind of trending to the same level of performance. You can only split strings and map arrays so fast once you get down to that level. But we're looking pretty good for performance now. So I'm going to attempt to do 4 demos in the remaining 20 minutes. And they're going to be fun and interesting and complicated, and hopefully they'll all work. First off, we're going to show Rubato. Rubato is Ruby on Android using JRuby. It's one of the Ruby Summer of Code projects by Daniel Jackaway. And this is information, Twitter ID. You can go to the Rubato on GitHub or rubato.org. Also will bring you to the Rubato page with information. There are 2 apps that I'll try to show quickly. The first is Rubato IRB, basically IRB running on Android. And the second is Rubato Core, which will allow you to generate and build your own Android applications in Ruby. Now let's see if we can show that now.
Exciting.
Very exciting. Whoa, okay. Sugoi. Okay, so here is my phone. This is a Nexus 1 that Tim Bray graciously donated to me. It's not the JRuby projects, it's mine. It's my phone now. So I'll show you quickly the Rubato IRB application. That looks pretty good. So you can see I've got a couple Rubies here on my phone. Let's start up Rubato IRB first. There we go.